Algebra 1, this is Mr. Baker from Mr. Baker and Mr. Stark's class. This video is for Standard 5 about the distributive property. The way we want to use this is there are going to be 3 examples and 2 terms that we'll be defining. You should put all of those in your math notebook and bring that to class next day. Let's get started. If we're going to talk about the distributive property, we need to think about what it means to distribute. That means to multiply a number of variable to everything inside parentheses. There'll be a number of variable outside of parentheses, and you'll put it inside. You'll multiply that to everything inside. And we got to look at what a monomial means. Nom means name, that little part of that word. So it's just pieces that we're naming or looking at. Monomial is a product, which just means multiplied stuff. Product of numbers or variables in an expression. We looked at that last week. Separated by plus or minus. And you may have heard this word too. When we're looking at monomials, we're just looking at the number of what's called terms. Here's the other thing I want you to think about for distributive property. When you go to the store, like Old Navy maybe, everything they get there at the store is from it's from a supply house where it came from. So let's say I've got lots of product at my supply house. I would need to distribute my shirts, my jeans, to all the stores. So I would need to take what was outside and distribute it or give it to all the other stores. So the supply is going to work like what's outside the parentheses, and the stores would be inside the parentheses. What's outside has to go to everything inside parentheses. So let's see how many stores we have, or how many terms. Remember, back 2 slides, a monomial is a product of numbers or variables in an expression separated by plus or minus. That's our number of terms we're looking at. So let's look at these. How many things do we have separated by plus or minus? Got 1, 2, 3 on that one. Let's look at the second one. 1, 2 things separated by that minus. And the last one, got 1, 2, 3 pluses or minuses. So this here is one monomial, or one term. There's another one, the 6. There's another one, the x. There's another one, the q. So if I was going to distribute what's outside to these terms, thinking about drawing the arrows, which is what I see a lot of kids do as soon as we hear distributive property, you would want to have the arrows go to each of these yellow circles, each of these terms. These are each of our stores. Alright, now let's actually multiply it. Here's our example. We've got 4 times 2x minus 16. Here's our terms. We've got 1, 2 terms. I'm going to do 4 times 2x and 4 times the 16. 4 times 2x, 4 times 16. 4 times 2x is going to be 4 times the 2. It's going to be 8x. And 4 times, this is negative 16. Ooh, I don't know what that is. I'll have to look at it. 4 times 6 is 24. 4 times 1 is 1. Plus 2 is 6. Alright. So 4 times 2x minus 16 is 8x minus 64. Let's do another one. How many terms do I have? 1, 2, 3 terms. So we're going to multiply 1, 2, 3 times. 5 times x is 5x. 5 times 10 is 50. And there was a minus there. 5 times 2x is 10x with the plus. We gotta look at this for another second though too, because now we need to look at like terms is another thing to think about. See, these both have x's on the end. That's it. So we need to add these two. 5 plus 10, 15x. Minus 50. Now we're done. Last one. I've got 2 sets to distribute to. In 2 times x minus 4, I've got an x term and a 4 term. And in the next one, I've got 4 times 8x and 4 times 1. Let's distribute. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 4 is 8. Carry that minus. 4 times 8x is 32x. 4 times 1 is 4, and that was a negative in front. Do we have any like terms? See, I've got 2x there, 2x here, and then I've just got numbers to put together also. Let's do the x's. 2x plus 32x is 34x. And then negative 8 and negative 4 is negative 12. These aren't like terms anymore, so we can't go further because the first one has an x, that one does not. So what we want you to remember about distributive property is that distributive property is not just about drawing arrows, which is what I see a lot of kids focus on. Ooh, let's redo that. Drawing arrows. It's something we do to help ourselves out, but it's not the action. It's the operation of multiplying. Alright, that's it. I want you to get this down, the 3 examples that we looked at, and then those 2 terms that we defined. See you in class.